Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
Welcome to Weirder Together podcast. I'm Ione Sky.
And I am Ben Lee, and we are coming at you, not live, pre-recorded from Weirder Together headquarters in Marrickville. Fine day in the inner west.
Yes, and if anyone's concerned, I talked to a beautiful baby yesterday who was concerned I was having a hard time moving. It was just your, regular upheaval, nervous breakdown, nothing major. I'm better.
You've learned to take a mentee bee in your stride.
Oh, really? At this point in my 50s, I can really take a mentee bee.
No resistance. You just go through it willingly. Tibetan Book of the Dead style. You die.
I try
reborn.
Try to learn from it, try to find ways to cope through it, and it's great. And now, having gone through them, I know I'll come out the other side, and it's not that I'm lucky. I'm lucky like that.
Feeling a little more settled in. We've started having people over to our new place.
Oh yeah, our
really
place
nice.
is really good for people coming over. And I'm going to go to LA and touch base. I'm going for the Anaconda premiere.
Yes, you have a part in Anaconda playing Jack Black's wife.
That's right. And
I'm sitting in the cuck chair for that one.
Well, the nice thing was Jack Black has a great marriage and we have a great marriage.
Married to Tanya Hayden, old friend from the Hayden sisters, Petra's sister, yeah.
That's right. And our roles were a great marriage, like the kind of marriages that I imagine he has and that we do have. So it was kind of nice. It was all art imitating life and life imitating art.
Now we are here today. I feel like we'll probably have some new listeners tuning in for a little bit of a special episode today because we are going to give you a deep dive recap on the 2025 ARIA Awards. For our international listeners, that's our Australian Grammys type thing. And very big year and pretty exciting, like artistically and personally, because, we are friendly and have worked with a lot of different people involved this year. And it was, I guess, let's start with, you'd never been to the ARIAs before.
No, my first thing about the ARIAs was I noticed when we were dating, you had these awards that looked very substantial. I believe 3 of them that looked like not only we didn't need a baseball bat in the house, because if we had a break-in, you just stab someone with one of those.
Lethal weapons.
Weapons. And I was like, wow, I could tell. And also you have a lion, a Palme d'Or.
Can Gold Lion, for advertising, for an advert that used one of these songs.
Gold Lion. So I saw these just out and about, and we put them on a bookshelf. Anyway, so that was a big year where you kissed
the Hoff. Yeah,
the
David
Hoff
Hasselhoff,
when you won your award.
What are you expecting? What do you think? What did you think it was going to be like?
That's right. Yeah. I've been to some back in the States, back in the day, I think MTV and VH1 or I don't know, those kind of awards. I told you a funny story where I once announced a music award show, and I had world music, and I didn't have my glasses for being nearsighted, meaning I couldn't see far, and I mangled these names of these world music artists like you wouldn't believe.
And you, while not formally diagnosed with dyslexia, you do have a famous penchant for mispronunciation, even when you know people's names.
Exactly.
So this was a tall order.
For
like a stoned 20-year-old actress.
I know, stoned and just being reprimanded by Penn or Teller. I can't remember which one. I believe the one who spoke. More.
Sure, yeah, that'd make sense. That'd be amazing if the other guy broke his silence to give you shit.
I can't remember why he didn't reprimand me for mispronouncing names. But anyway, so I got through that. But the ARIAs, so I thought maybe it'll be boring. We'll be at those tables and sit around and it'll be boring. And it was great. I shed a tear, I believe, once or twice, I believe.
There were some big moments. Well, why don't we get into our fits? Because, big part of any award ceremony is getting dressed for it. What were you rocking?
I'm lucky enough to get to wear clothes by Romance was born. And so I went in with my friend Kitty Callahan, and she was going to, she's not a formal stylist, but she loves to help style her friends. She styled Izzy from
Manfredi, yep.
Yeah. And me, but just as a favor. So I went there. I was thinking I'm going to
You're really keeping her in the clear with the tax department. They're not going to be looking for any any undeclared income. Okay.
She deserves everything. Anyway, yeah. And so I thought, I'm getting older. I just don't want to be too crazy. I just want to look like naturally beautiful, maybe something tighter fitting so I can kind of like, not go too crazy.
Oh, so
or
your
something.
intention was to go a little more conservative.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
I come out with the most outrageous, I feel like, outfit, which is saying a lot for romance because they're just, I can't even explain if you don't know how beautiful the clothes are and how incredible. There's a bathing suit. I can't even tell you all of it. I'm not even going to go into it. In any case, the last show I loved, they used plaid flannel with sequins are very big right now. And these beautiful plaid kind of looks, very high end. It's hard to explain. So anyway, I wore this plaid shirt with sequins, which sounds, you would think.
Like embroidered the character Orko, that magician, I think from
right.
Masters of the Universe or something. Yeah,
and you'd think like that sounds like it could be very fugly, but amazing, not fugly. And then these jeans, very a la like Met Ball, when the Kardashians were building out the Marie Antoinette shape. Snatched waist.
But like a big structured butt,
yeah, like,
basically,
like
right?
side boost, not bustiers, side things, side panels. So my daughters are always saying I'm snatched in the waist. Like I do have a kind of thin upper waist. Or like waist, so I could rock that kind of hourglass. And so I wore these jeans. So it's like, I can't even tell you the smash ups or mashups of this look, but I think it was really good.
You looked incredible. And I wore one of my Bangkok suits that I've been my Brian Ferry style 70s cream suit. And yeah, I mean, it's so funny because Anna offered me something and I love wearing romance, but I was really in this headspace of just like willingly stepping into, it's interesting generationally, like stepping into like a little more of a background role and where you like let the younger people be more outrageous and like, I mean, no, like you, exactly. No, I just mean artist wise. Like I didn't want to, my intention was not to like, for me to suck up eyeballs on the red carpet because I was like, I've had time where like I'm like the star of the show.
And I'm sure you'll do it again. But it complimented your daddy, goat, friend of lesbians. I don't know. There's this whole like genre and look and mood board that you've and powerful kind of time that you've come into where you're kind of like you're getting in this daddy place.
It's elder statesman.
Yeah.
So we're working on it.
Yeah. But I'm sure you're you're very known, since I've known you, to say, I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
And then the next time I see you, you're wearing
I am prone to born again proclamations.
You'll wear
absolutely.
like the most razzle dazzle.
But I liked you being razzle dazzle.
And I've seen people, I wore sunglasses.
Yes.
I've seen people do this and I've thought, wow, that's so confident.
On the red carpet, yes.
Yeah. And I don't say it's douchey. I don't, sometimes I envy it. I think, wow, the chutzpah, the song, I Wear My Sunglasses at Night.
Sure.
There was a reason, actually, it was in the daytime, the red carpet. But anyway, with this look, I really felt it worked with the sunglasses. And I was very happy.
You looked fantastic. I mean, the shoes, you made a commitment to some very high pumps, right?
Sure. Anna, Romance was born.
Yeah.
Anna lent me shoes and I believe she had the right size and I accidentally took the wrong size. So I was doing sort of some foot binding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ancient Chinese art. Yeah.
Yes. So that was fine. So I went barefoot at one point, but someone was like, that's so cool. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. You were very,
but it worked out.
You looked incredible.
Yeah.
Tons of friends around from multiple generations. Like, it was very fun to see. Seated next to, I was given a great a gossip comrade, I was seated next to Annika, who's Alice Ivy, and we have kind of equal thresholds for shit talking. I thought it was like both positive and negative, you know what I mean? So it was a good, I was very happy with that placement.
Nice,
Had
perfect.
good gossip
Perfect
partner.
level of gossip
And you were
partner.
seated next to some of the people involved in the kids, Emma's show, Emma from the Wiggles.
Yes,
the kids
and
program.
they
Yeah.
won, which was
Yeah.
cute because I didn't know them personally, but it's always fun being at a table when someone wins.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was awesome. So for people who have, been aboard the Weirder Together train for a little while, I think our very first Weirder Together was Conchetta Caristo doing stand-up at, long before she was doing Triple J or the second one. Amazing seeing Conchetta in that role hosting where, I don't know, she's just like so genuinely likable.
Well, yeah, and she is excited by everybody in a way that feels genuine,
Yeah.
and because she's bubbly for real.
Yeah.
She's warm for real. She's smart for real. And there's this kind of a ditziness, but it's kind of like, it's just really likable, and she's smart and quick. And if you're that funny, someone's smart. So when I say
Yes, yeah.
ditzy, I don't mean it in a like no brain cells.
No, she plays the role a little bit. But I remember the very first night I met her at Giant Dwarf. She was doing, her stand-up. She always used to have a bum bag on. That was sort of part of her look. And we stood around talking after for like 20 minutes, and she was asked a million questions. Like, that is actually very organic to who she is. And it's just nice seeing someone like able to use that talent. And I don't know, I think she just created a really good energy for the whole show. I thought she was a smart choice. Okay, so the night was sort of, I guess, personally it was very exciting because of the Nina Geraci nominations and Amel and the Sniffers. Like, these are two artists who, from the beginning we've been really excited about and supportive of and friends with. And yeah, just feeling like it felt like in the past the ARIAs it's gone from being a really relevant institution to feeling like, I think just as the music industry shifted into streaming and monoculture sort of blew up and everything became more niche, the ARIAs had a hard time kind of finding its feet, figuring out what it was or who its audience was.
And they were not alone, because
same with the Grammys.
There was
same with
an influencer time that got a bit too heavy-handed in the influencers. Even
yes, they tried to pivot too hard to TikTok influencers.
Which was sort of a worldwide entertainment business thing. And then I think in general people are interested in real life stuff now again, and I think that there's a taste for, what am I saying, sort of realness these days, mixed in, like a balance with all of that stuff. Does that make sense?
I absolutely agree. And I think the way I perceived leading up to this ARIA is that there was the potential for this to actually be a bit of a pivot inflection point for what the ARIAs represented. And I think both Nina Geraci and Amel and the Sniffers, you might like their styles of music, you might not, but the reality is these are both artists that have absolutely no A&R involvement. There is no corporate influence on what they are doing. Like Amel and the Sniffers and Nina Geraci both have sounds and artistic directions that they completely created on their own internally. And the idea that these were going to be the major players and the major recognitions at this event, it just like, it gave it this energy that was quite palpable. I think everyone was really excited about it.
Yeah, that's part of the realness. And also one thing before I forget some of the points I wanted to make. So Missy Higgins is like your true blue stock. What's that? Blue chip stock, whatever.
Blue chip stock as a songwriter and performer.
She's amazing. Yeah. And so everybody's chapters in their life.
But made a very personal record too.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So what's sort of nice, it kind of reminds me of that not Amy Mann, who's the singer who sang Fucking Run.
Oh, Liz Phair.
Yeah, Liz Phair has a great post having a child song, and there's these lyrics about she had someone spend the night and the kid puts like its toys by her bed. So it's very far and few between, I think, that there's this world of sort of an getting older woman who's divorced. I mean, this is a divorce album, which there have been. Neil Young had one. But as a woman, I loved what she said, something about making a messy divorced woman sexy, right? But she really hit something in a nice way.
Well, she said, we don't want to be thought of as hot. We just want to feel heard and tell a story.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying
you're saying the exact opposite.
Exactly.
You're saying we do not want to hear you, but we want to think you're hot. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm saying, but to me, when I say sexy, it's a cringy way of saying something like a restaurant is or a house, meaning that it's exciting and still. Yes, but heard. And the way she said it was really great. So I just felt that was important, because when someone's famous for she's so consistently famous, your mind wants to sort of say, well, what can you do now that's interesting? I even go on that bandwagon in my head. And I just love that it was interesting and so meaningful and helpful.
Absolutely.
And good. And then the woman who, I'm sorry, forgive me, I forget names. The woman who won not album of the year, but also a mother.
Oh, wait, you're talking about Barker.
Yes.
Barker made an incredible.
And I think Tyra.
That was a moment.
I feel
no, Tyra gave Thelma.
That's right. Oh, no. Which
Barker.
was wonderful, because Tyra Banks.
And Thelma, okay, we'll get into that too. But
Tyra Banks lives in town, and she announced something which is so worlds colliding for me, which is so funny.
Yeah.
But
Barker.
Yes, was fabulous.
Yeah, Barker was, I don't know, there's something about I'm always hesitant to use terms like authenticity in music, because everything's authentic. Everyone's working hard and doing it. But there's something very real about Barker that you just get I don't know. It's like, I believe her. I believe her.
And is the genre rap?
Yeah, she's a rapper.
Rap, yeah. That was exciting, because I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a new, more and more kind of like, I don't know. What do I know? Rap and black, kind of in the music industry. We were talking to our friend Esty yesterday.
About 1-4. Yeah. Well, the thing about Australian rap music, it's struggled internationally because
Americans think Australia's all just beautiful, and because the healthcare is good, there's no struggle anymore once everyone dealt with stuff back in the day. There's like not, whereas America, you're like, police brutality, this, da, da.
Sure.
It's in your face all the time. Here, you can forget that there's like situations going on and culture going on. When the truth is, it's here. It's just like everything's so lovely here. You almost get like, oh, I don't see it. Whereas it's not. You know what I'm saying?
I totally get that, but I also think it's just on a very visceral listener level, the accent issue is a really big one, in that it's like you're fucked either way. Like if you do an American accent, you are sort of appropriating American culture. And if you use an Australian accent, you're seen as like, oh, it's silly. Have you heard Australian rap music? And I think there's a really, there's just internationally, there's been a sort of like,
what about British rap?
British rap, for some reason, I don't know, all that grime stuff. It's like people have like accepted it, that you can rap with a British voice. And I actually like Australian rap in an Australian accent. I really do. But there's a bit of a dialogue about that on TikTok or whatever. Like some people think it sounds.
Is it just because Australians again are kind of putting themselves down?
No, it's not Australians. I mean, some Australians do, but I think it's just internationally, like rap is. It's like
no, I get it. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, they just sort of like.
I just thought
there's a lack of acceptance of it.
If English accent, and people love Australian accents, so maybe that'll
But
change.
that was really great. So Thelma Plum, I think it was her 10th award being nominated, and she's never won anything. And that was that's Tyra gave her the award, and I thought that was great. Thelma also had an excellent this tailored outfit with a land back message on it that, like, I think Thelma has a very unique role in Australian pop culture, where there's a lot of I imagine, pressure on her as a Black voice, as like one of the forefront Black voices, but also that she's a very accessible style of music. You know what I mean? Like I think she does an amazing job balancing politics and politically conscious social messages while still like, I don't know, there's something so, I guess she just like she invites everybody. She invites everybody to the table. And I think that is a very unique position for an artist to be in. So I'm just always pleased to see her getting any kind of recognition. Because also she had this song several years ago, like 5 years ago, called Woke Blokes, that I just thought it was one of my favorite pop songs. It didn't seem to get a whole lot of traction. But anyway, she's someone that like, I don't know, there's a handful of artists that you just never count out because they're always, I don't know, they've just got this like indomitable will. And I see her as that kind of artist.
For sure.
She's amazing. So let's talk about what were you had a really funny like misadventure with your pants.
Well, I always, with my pants. I always love a kind of moment at an event where you hook up with somebody. And I was looking for one of the lads in Amel and the Sniffers' girlfriend who I liked. We met in LA.
Yes.
And so I was hoping she was there. And then she was like, come with me, have a cigarette. And so we like did the kind of sneaky, like, oh, I don't know if you're allowed to come back here, but she kind of wrangled our way back. And you feel like naughty, you know, like you're like, you know, whatever, going around the side. And that was fun. Then later I went to the bathroom and my pants were a zipper that need someone to help zip up in the back because as I explained before, the pants were like a construction of a piece of art. So as I was leaving, like you went to the bathroom and then I was like, you said, oh, I'll help you zip your pants.
But you'd have to come out with them sort of undone.
Yeah. So I came out and I was like holding them, waiting for you. Missy Higgins, who's a big star in Australia and parts of the world as well, was walking in the bathroom. And then she zipped my pants up for me. And then just as that happened, Grace from Mallrat passed by and was like, her eyes widened and she, because it was just like seeing Missy zip my pants up was just like fun. And then as we walked back to the table, she went, meow, meow. And then I was like, I would love that moment.
Grace looked amazing and was a great delivery. And
Mallrat's incredible if you don't know Mallrat. To see live, like in LA, we took my newly divorced friend. We're both like 54 years old. Well, actually, she was 52 probably. She's a little younger. Anyway.
Important detail.
Yeah, all these are very important details. My kind of Marlboro type mom, meaning like a very, white, blonde, kind of does everything correct kind of lady. And we were she was like, I'll go with you guys. And like, you can take anyone
to the Troubadour. Yeah.
We were at the Troubadour. To Mallrat. It's just like a good show, good quality, so fun. Everybody loves.
And now I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but when she put out her last album, she actually didn't get any ARIA nominations for a record that was incredibly innovative in Australia and at an international level. It was one of those perplexing things. And she went on a bit of a rant on social media and rightly so about like, what the fuck? What do I have to, it's like, who do you have to blow to get served around here? And
I'm thinking of the ARIAs. It was very women dominated sort of in a nice way. And also there was the honorary award we'll talk about later, whatever they call it, Lifetime Achievement, is sort of also in this sort of nice mood of
UMI, you mean?
Yeah, of like sort of, I don't know, there was a sort of tone to it that was good. I mean, inclusive, but
totally. But
anyway,
hang on, just back to Mallrat.
Yeah,
back to Mallrat.
She's adorable with her
she went on a rant. And it was quite aggressively a tirade against the ARIAs. And I thought, she got a nomination or two this year, but I thought having her present, and that was like the right kind of move, because I think what you don't want in an industry is that kind of political thing. Like if you watch the Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix that's out now, he talks about when he spoke up about the Academy Awards and the fact that he sort of he felt a little
Slighted.
a little slighted by them, and he never got another nomination and never got invited back. You don't want that mafia vibe in an industry. And I think a lot of people will argue that it's inevitable, that basically in any one of these things, you get the corporate sponsors and you get the major labels and you're going to end up with politics. I totally get that. But I think by doing things like, if an artist actually brings up an issue and is still invited to the conversation, I think that's a good precedent to set. Do you know what I mean? So you don't get that culture of silence where people feel like they can't speak their minds.
That's, this day and age, it's intense. You saying that you were the best songwriter in Australia when you were young.
That was just the truth. No, I'm kidding.
You were being provocative and just being like a upsetter and a cheeky guy. Did that affect your relationship to the business?
I think in ways it did. I don't know.
It confused some people.
Yeah, good and bad.
Some people thought you were not joking and they didn't know if you were. So back to Grace Mallrat. That was beautiful.
So Cub Sport, Sam and Tim from Cub Sport have a new project called Two Charm. And if you're on TikTok, you've probably heard their song Boyfriend that's like really great, and there's all these dances to it. And they came in full character mode, shirtless. I mean, jacked.
I know, jacked.
Both and these guys,
I took
jacked. Would you say now? Hey, if I'm not using the correct language, let me know. But are these jacked twinks? Is that the look? Is that what we're talking about?
I mean, if they had some hair, it would be jacked cubs. But yeah, I would say twinks.
Oh, right. Cub Sport. I never actually put that together.
Yeah. But cubs, I think, have a little more hair.
Oh, sure. No, these are like, they're waxed.
I feel like they're like a little bit in between a cub and a twink.
Because twinks are not meant to have muscles that much, right? They're meant to be like skinny, like poetic.
And there's a vibe that's they're slightly different. I took two great pictures. I took a picture of you and the meat in between the sandwich of the fellas, and then another picture that.
Okay, wait. I want to get into that, but one thing just about the Two Charm thing was I thought it was super cool that here you have a pretty big band, Cub Sport, who are doing ostensibly a side project. Show up to present an award, show up in character, do all their press. No mention of Cub Sport. When they were introduced on stage, it wasn't like Sam and Tim from Cub Sport. It was like, please welcome Two Charm. And I love that we, I don't know. I love that there's that kind of like humor, fantasy role play too, because pop music does rely on like commitment to the bit.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about this photo.
Okay. So the night is going on. Amyl and the Sniffers win a lot.
Nina Geraci's killing it.
Winning
it was
stuff.
A slow start. It reminded me of my 2005, whenever it was, when I was nominated for a ton, lost all the beginning ones, and you start going like, oh man, this is going to be so embarrassing. I've invited this whole table. I'm going to walk away with nothing. But then it just picked up at the end and Nina was killing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nina did kind of the same. We're just all of a sudden getting award after award, which, the world's not about awards, but this night is. And then Nina had never met Amy Taylor from Amyl. And so I was like, someone was like, take a picture of us, you, Ben, and Amy, you and Nina.
So for context, this is like
exciting.
Me with the two big winners of the night, who are both artists that we've been personally connected to. I mean, this is a moment.
This is a moment.
We
it's
know
an
this
exciting moment.
The pressure's on because this is a photo that's gonna like it's one for the it's going straight to the pool room,
and everyone's going off to the after party. So it's like there's no time to like figure out the shot.
Now, would you say you work well as a photographer under pressure generally?
I'm better just like on the fly if I'm taking a picture of you. Also, the two subjects I always take a good picture of are you and our little dog, Gus.
Okay.
Everybody else, no. Especially my daughters can't take a good picture. I feel like I can do a selfie, but I think we're delusional and, everybody thinks they can take a good selfie.
Right.
But other people would be like, that's actually not a good angle.
Right.
But anyway. I love taking pictures. Anyway, so I'm trying to remember what Goldie, my 16-year-old, told me about where to hold the phone, which is sort of by the shoulder or something. I don't know. and I take it. But I think it was mid. It was. I mean,
I
everybody
think you
looks
got it.
good.
You got
but
it.
I was like, how are they trusting this Gen X mom to take this hot shot?
Well, I think you absolutely killed it. I got to present the album of the year, and I used the moment to talk a little bit about, especially because the night was presented by a streaming service, and streaming services are favoring singles over albums. I mean, you could argue that the algorithm does not incentivize the release of albums and the hard work put into albums, that I wanted to take a moment and just acknowledge that the album is where it's at and where it's always been at, and that great artists will always be judged by their ability to make great albums. So I was happy to get a chance to share that message. And then, it was funny presenting it because, I kind of knew it was going to go to Nina Geraci or Amel and the Sniffers. And I felt so verklempt, I think is the Yiddish term, about either of those possibilities. And that one went to Amel, and they came up, and Amy gave an incredible speech that has gone absolutely viral, and it was about all immigrants. As the new Prime Minister of Australia, I'd like to announce all immigrants are welcome, the doll's going up, and every pub gets $1 million, which is, I mean, she is truly a master of a good catchphrase.
I know. And what's her little like thing she does?
yeah. I'm not gonna try and do that.
I know. Mine went very well.
No, but
but
it was really good. And
really good.
Yeah, I guess something that I was really left. We'll move on to firstly, Olivia Dean. Did you dig Olivia Dean?
Totally.
I'd never. It's so funny. I was talking to our friends Zilbs and Esty. Somehow I'd never heard Olivia Dean. I consider myself. I keep up with music. It just has not crossed my path.
Apparently,
I thought she was very good. Apparently, she's
you
huge.
cannot not hear her. And what I'd heard was sometimes you invite a big star from another country to Australia to the ARIAs, and sometimes I think people said they would feel it was being phoned in.
Oh yeah, right.
But this was like
she did a good performance.
She did a great performance. It was really terrific. And then the Lifetime Achievement Award,
UMI,
was really fabulous.
Yeah, what did you think about it? So one of our first dates was to see UMI at Spaceland in LA. And you don't remember that at all, do you?
No, wait. Spaceland. I'm trying to even remember Spaceland.
In Silver Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, we went there and we watched UMI
Did
play.
I seem to love it?
You did seem to love it, but clearly it didn't make that much of an impression 20 years ago.
No, I usually remember things like when Blondie played that corporate gig.
Yeah, totally. So UMI.
Yes, so this is your replacements.
They are the Australian replacements.
And the songs were, I know them now, and it was just everyone was singing, and I love that type of music, of course. And then the speech was really terrific. And then after, I guess, you were backstage.
Well, I was getting ready to come on as Tim was coming off.
And you hugged.
And Tim just came up to me. He always goes, Benny! And he hugged me, and he'd given a very vulnerable speech. And those, when you hug someone, when they're already opened up.
Yeah.
It was like this beautiful hug. And then he said something private. It's not to share on this, but it was a very beautiful moment. And it was one of those things where, I first heard UMI. I first got into UMI 1991. They were in Drum Media Street Press. And I'll never forget Tim saying, I don't know about you, but some days I wake up and I want to be Paul Westerberg. Some days I wake up and I want to be, in the Kinks. And like he was talking about the rock and roll dream and persona. And I was like, oh my God, I love this.
Yeah.
This is what we need in Australian music. It was so real.
Yeah.
So I've loved them forever. And it was, these are like alliances that, I don't mean alliances like politically. I mean, just there's like brothers and sisters that like you're out on the road year after year, decade after decade, you cross paths here, you cross paths there, but you roughly know what each other are going through. And it's a powerful thing, like looking at these, these relationships in an industry where you just look at each other, you're like, we're surviving.
Yeah.
Similarly, actually, Adam Kelly Holiday, who we've talked about dancing to on the pod, and we were really happy for him. That was amazing to see him have this big moment. And also incredible, one of my favorite moments of the night was when the live camera cut to his partner, Abby Chatfield, and she's filming herself, like making social media content. I was like, this is perfect. You could not have scripted this.
I know, because she, I love her and her videos. So her boyfriend is Kelly Holiday, and for part of the video, it's her reacting to hearing this song for the first time. It's a very romantic song, and yeah, he was great. I love his look. It's like almost confusing. He's like
Very Euro.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's great. It's like he's so dynamic. He's just like with his curly hair and his muscles, and he's tan and such a hairy chest. And
Remember we bumped into him later in the night at the Nina Geraci party, and it was really sweet. And he was actually talking about the pod. He was saying he's been listening to it, and he sees how from this very small, intimate thing, the ripples outwards, the effects on culture are really strong. And I found that very encouraging, because sometimes when you're doing something like this and it sort of feels like, why are we doing it? There's like, whatever, a few thousand people listen to it. Like, what? But it does create effects. Like, this is how culture is built. And I think more and more I believe that, I forget who said that culture is what we make it to be.
Yeah.
But we're making culture by doing stuff like this. And it's nice that people recognize
I know,
that.
and it's great to have like that song "Dancing 2" is such a good song that it's proof again that like nepotism, sure it does help, but if the talent isn't there, it's
the content has to be there.
The content
there has to be something
has to
real.
be
It's
there,
like
yeah.
you get relationships or politics or that. You can get your foot in the door, but it's not going to make someone listen to something 10 times in a row.
No, it'll
Like, that's-
help. And then it's funny I remember there was this kid who was the daughter of two iconic mega stars that were cool and iconic. I don't even want to name who they were, because the coolest two stars from the like 60s, 70s, 80s. And she was like a pariah. No one wanted her around. And you would think this person was a shoo-in for anything they wanted to do. And it was like, oh no, so-and-so's coming to this thing. So anyway, it could also be like, sadly, not do anything for you. Anyway.
Yeah. I wanted to say one more thing too, just before we move on to the after parties and all that. Firstly, upsets, I guess. Kevin Parker, God bless him. You can't argue with success, but the idea that Nina Geraci didn't win Producer and Engineer of the Year, that was a flop to me. It's like you're talking about, firstly, the first woman ever nominated for Producer of the Year, I think. And on a record that has completely changed the music landscape, as opposed to the Tame Impala record, which is not regarded as a particularly like a high point of their career. I thought that was a mistake.
It was safe.
I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was kind of like, oh, let's give Kevin Parker things because he's massive and he's done.
Right.
And he's great. He's
had maybe one too many. I
just felt like they should have been Nina's.
Right,
that was my opinion. Anyway, I'm biased with that. Gosh, yeah, I have something specific I want to say about this whole thing, though. That I was very aware on the night of being in a sort of strange and unique position where I was like one of the only people in the room that was connected both to UMI and to Nina Geraci. Like I was sitting really like between generations and was really aware of just the uniqueness of that. But I think the thing I wanted to kind of explain, because I think people think this is sort of a vague, mysterious thing, why I'm sort of connected to younger artists. And I'm a massive fan of music. And when I discover something I get excited about, I become like evangelical about it. And like Amyl and the Sniffers, Georgia Mack brought Amy to see me play in Melbourne years ago, and I was playing solo and she was dancing up the back the whole time, and we went dancing after, and I was like, I love this person.
Was that the night Kate went with you?
Yeah, I was like, this is an amazing person. Got into the band. When they came to LA, I was like, let's throw a party for them and like introduce them to people because they don't know anybody. They ended up performing at our house.
And they were already like doing well, so it was pretty exciting that they performed.
It was amazing. And we had Beck and Reggie Watts there and Nick from the ARIAs and just getting everyone excited about this band. Yeah. But from the space of being a massive fan, similarly with Nina Geraci, we threw a little mini rave just for our friends. This was earlier on, and just turning people onto her, and I ended up writing on this record and stuff. But all of this stems from being a fan and letting
Sure.
artists know. And, you know, I would love to see more musicians of my generation actively supporting younger artists a little more. And the thing is, I think they don't do it out of insecurity. It's not out of, it's thinking they don't have anything to offer because they're from another generation. Like I remember Mole Rat saying to me, "You're one of the only older guys that wants to hang out with us." And I was like, they think you guys don't want to hang out with them.
Sure.
Like older artists start feeling sort of disposed of by culture.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of artists from my generation. I know you're listening to the podcast because I get your DMs and I can see the likes. I know you guys are listening, and I'd like to invite other artists from our generation to just, it doesn't take much. If you see an up-and-coming artist who you like their vibe, shoot them a message and go, "Hey, I dig your stuff. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out."
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And I think that type of intergenerational dialogue and support is how our industry is going to get more powerful.
Well, of course. I mean, I know it in the movie business, like Rachel Horvitz had that touch, this producer who would always know, like, she was like, there's this kid, Mark Ruffalo, like she saw in a play I'd never heard, or all these great writers who ended up being like really incredible screenwriters. She always had that knack, like Pav had with bands. But, and like Jenny Connor had with Lena Dunham, like you have these people, but part of it is you have a gift. I'm not saying these musicians that you're pointing to right now don't. Some of them might, and they're not using it. But you personally have a gift for seeing talent at that point. Like they might be just tipping over, or they might already be popular, but like Joanna Sternberg or something. But you know, so you have a gift.
I totally get that. Get that. And I'm not saying everybody has to be as intense and fanatical as I am about like fostering new talent.
Sure.
But everyone can do something.
If they have any, even if it's one
literally,
person.
it's like who you give your support act
Sure,
to. Like,
sure.
like if you're doing a tour, like check out who the new younger artists are and reach out to ones, because everybody is building their story. And if you get invited to open for a band that's got a story and credibility, it helps you, you know?
Well, yeah, like Byron, our friend, wanted to have our daughter model this cool streetwear Pam, and that was so great. And Byron saw something in Goldie that would work well, and then just was inspired and went for it. So there's that great combination of having the ability to do it, like Byron can pull that off, and you can pull it together, and also having the eye.
Yeah.
But whatever your eye is, it doesn't need to be like,
and
you don't need to strike gold.
Cool.
Right.
It could just be anything.
Sure.
It's like literally.
I just feel like I don't really do it myself, but my contribution is I've become mother in the sense, like, you know, people love to talk to me as like I'm this sort of deep and cool and wise.
And a woman who has survived the sort of star-making industry of going
and
from you, the ingenue who showed up.
Too wounded, you know.
Exactly.
Just wounded enough.
Exactly. We went to the after parties. We popped into the Amyl and the Sniffers after party at the Lord Gladstone. That was fun. Had a great conversation with Declan about producing records and stuff. That was really cool.
We bonded
He actually
with
sent me a Gordon
Helen.
Lightfoot song, the one we were talking about.
Don't you
really
love
good.
this is also this new era for hopefully the world and for my life of sharing stuff. And it's sure it is some sort of like once in a while it is a TikTok, but it's also there's like a feeling of sharing. Like I wanted to get back to like those parties where you're just like looking at books together and like playing each other records.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I feel like there's a quality that is a little more kind of like, I don't know what the word is.
Yeah. And then
So
we had
Gordon
a great
Lightfoot,
chat to the guys from Coffin and another
Helen?
heavier band called Civic. Wait, Helen. What's Helen?
Someone's mom.
Oh, Gus's mum. Was her name Helen? Gus
think
from Amyl and the Sniffers. Yeah, her mum. His mum was, I guess she was doing a lot of press. She was being the official Mothers of Amyl and the Sniffers spokesperson. And then we went to the Nina Geraci party. And that was That was fab. That was great. Had a very funny chat with old friend of mine, Emily York, who runs Penny Drop, who it's so funny. She was calling somebody out for saying something anti-Semitic for like 5 years ago. And I was sitting there, I was like, wow, we live in a culture of so many people, like on the internet, everyone calls each other out, but I'm actually not used to seeing it in person.
And
so
she
it's
was
kind of
able to
liberating.
call him out in a way that didn't put her in the Zionist camp whatsoever.
Oh yeah, it wasn't about that at all.
No.
It was literally about like
It was just a silly thing of like saying Jews were penny pinchers.
yeah, exactly.
So it was just
exactly.
old school
Old school anti-Semitic. And that was funny. She was like, you were anti-Semitic before it was fashionable. That was very good. So yeah, that was really fun. And Nina Las Vegas, who runs Nina Geraci's record label, that was really sweet. She said to me, she's like, we're like, it's like we're like an aunt and uncle to this artist who's like, but Nina Geraci, we had a really beautiful moment at the end of the night where she said, we were both kind of like just weepy and emotional. And she was like, I just wanted you to know, I tell everybody that when we wrote that song, that session at your house, All I Am, she's like, that was the first thing for my record. And I really mean it. Like I came out of that session ready to make an album. And I just said to her, listen, this experience has been like an absolute first time for me too. I've never been a footnote to something just creatively that has gone on and just exploded in this way. And the amount of just trickle down joy that I've experienced has been unbelievable. So grateful for that.
I know, so good.
So grateful
And
for
last
that.
music thing is, well, maybe not the last. This is a music epi. We saw Witch.
Oh, Witch were amazing.
We
at the
saw
Enmore,
Witch
yeah.
at the Enmore. We Intend to Cause Havoc. A West African band.
Yeah, Zambian.
Zambian psych rock. That he's an older man now, the lead guy, and he's like eccentric.
Jagger. Right?
Yeah, Jagga. And he had grapes and fruit he was eating during the set and putting them in his pockets.
Fruit skins in the pocket is next level.
Yeah.
That's some real performance
I know.
antics.
And I'm sure loving the fruit of Australia.
I saw Tropical Fuckstorm at the Marrickville Bolo, and I was completely blown away. I thought they were incredible. I mean, Gareth Lydiard has such a storied history from the Drones. His solo record, Strange Tourist, is incredible. I'd never seen Tropical Fuckstorm live. It reminded me of the 90s, like seeing Slint or something. Then these bands, they work best when you feel like they are completely committed to the universe they've created. That's
Right.
all that exists. And this music is so complex, yet it's funny how like real entertainment, like this music changes every 8 measures and there's like something new and exciting happening.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't need to know the music at all, but I am blown away by how he remembers so many lyrics. There are so many lyrics to his songs. And he's getting older, I think he said he's like 50 or something. I was like, wow, your memory is.
Maybe he has
Pretty good.
a poster board. Like I worked with Faye Dunaway
Mm.
and she had just the big kind of the stuff written on a board. I mean, you would be surprised how many
You think he's getting fed something in his ear like Marlon Brando?
I don't know. But there's many actors who have things written on stuff. I feel like Brando, they said, used to write stuff under props and would just like lift them during the scene and read lines.
Last thing, I cannot let this podcast end without acknowledging that Lisa Barlow from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City acknowledged that she does make free tequila donations to the Church of Satan.
Oh, yeah.
Unexpected revelation. I did
was
not
great.
expect Lisa Barlow and the Church of Satan to have a connection.
I know. I wonder if they've reached out to her.
I mean, there is something to do with her ascent and the way she's a bit of a Teflon Don.
Yeah.
That perhaps there is a deal with the devil. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That was really, you think you've heard it all.
Yeah, you do. You think you've heard it all. And then lo and behold, Lucifer arrives. What a cameo. I'm surprised. Yeah, Mary Crosby's going to be casting him out.
Oh, boy. Mary Crosby is not going to like that.
All right, then. Well, tickets for 40 shows next year are on sale now for my gigs. Say Everything. Ioni's book is out now. what else? If this is the first episode you've tuned into because you wanted ARIA's gossip, I hope it was satisfying.
Like our podcast.
Yeah, smash that subscribe button. And we love you, beautiful babies.
We love you, beautiful babies. Thanks for listening and being with us.
Together we're weirder together.